2,000-year-old philosophy on time management. Looking to better our time management skills? There are plenty of places we might look to. We might ask some friends on their methods or a successful person. We might buy a self-help book full of modern advice for our modern problems, such as the many digital distractions we face nowadays. You might not think to open up a 2,000-year-old philosophy essay, but it just might help you more than anything else that you look at. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, writing in ancient Rome, published the Brevitate Vitae, or On the Shortness of Life, in 49 AD, but it contains advice that could help anyone today deal with their time management problems. Here are 6 key insights that Seneca wrote about that could help you with making the most of your time. Value your time like a commodity. We as people tend to care a lot about our money and how we spend it. We look for savings and good deals and might be unwilling to give it up easily. If a stranger came up to you and asked you for $100, you would likely refuse. So, why are we so willing to surrender so much of our time to other people, when really it is the most precious and finite resource that we have? Seneca argues that we have an idle attitude about time, willing to spend it in any trivial way, that we may think that the time is short when really we are not ill-supplied but wasteful of it. The solution? Treat time as the precious resource it truly is. If a train ticket is $5 cheaper, but the journey will take 5 hours more, don't buy it. You may be saving money, but you are losing time. The one thing you can't ever get more of, and one day you might regret all the things you felt you didn't have time to pursue. If only you had spent less time sitting on those trains. Seneca argues that we should view time as if we are dying of thirst and see a river that rushes by and will not always flow. We must drink quickly. Live right now. You probably come across the phrase carpe diem, or seize the day, so often that now it's a cliche. But when Seneca was using it, it was fresh and new, and the reasons for him doing so still apply to us today. What Seneca means by using this phrase is that we might find ourselves working for a future that is always uncertain. We accept bad pay or bad hours right now because we hope that this might lead to a promotion, and then we will have everything we need and can finally be happy. But that future is never guaranteed. In the meantime, we could spend months, years, or even our whole lives in misery just to build towards this promised future. Thus, although it can be good to plan for the future, Seneca argues that we need to focus on being happy right now. A good life is not one that is hoped for at some uncertain point, but it's manifested right now. As Seneca says, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Avoid life's trivialities. This point links back to correctly valuing your time. If you lived each day knowing your time could be up tomorrow, you would be a whole lot less willing to spend so much time scrolling through social media. As Seneca says, you spend so much of your life not aware of what you were losing, and when the time comes to tally up how we spent it, we would be able to see how little some things mattered. The solution to this is learning to say no, ignoring those notifications, giving a miss to those quick outings, and abandoning what Seneca termed frivolous social amusements. This idea links in nicely to the next one that Seneca emphasized, which was, live for your own life. Say you've managed to say no to plenty of things, and have straightened out your time according to the advice so far, but there is still the potential to be led astray by what you do with your time now. We could then just fill our newly freed up present-oriented time on pointless busyness or achieving other people's goals. As Seneca says, so you must not think a man has lived long because he has white hair and wrinkles. He has not lived long, just existed long. Having your new time and using it correctly are two entirely different things. So, the next piece of advice is to focus on things that make you happy. Look at things that you can change in your life right now for your own benefit and work towards them. If the tasks you are doing are not building towards that, why do them? Achieving goals just for the sake of achieving them will not yield the happiness we all deserve. The secret to a fulfilling life is using your time towards your own goals and manifesting your life as you want it to be. Commodities aren't always the solution. The pursuit of commodities and luxury seems to be the end goal of most of modern life. But Seneca thinks that this won't necessarily lead to happiness. It is inevitable that life will be not just very short, but very miserable for those who acquire by great toil what they must keep by greater toil. What Seneca means by this is that working for commodities that themselves require more and more work and maintenance, insurance and more, will not provide for a fulfilling life. That new flashy car might seem appealing, but if you are too scared to drive it for fear of being scratched, and the insurance means that you are having to pull overtime shift just to hang on to it, it clearly wasn't worth it. Instead, we should be focusing on giving ourselves more time, maybe labor-saving devices to achieve the things that truly makes us happy. Don't put things off. This again links back to avoiding living for the future. That awful phrase, "I'll do it tomorrow," that has led to endless procrastination for the human species, is a formidable foe for anyone trying to manage their time better. Avoid postponing your life. As Seneca says, while we are postponing, life speeds by. If you have found wisdom in the previous points and are focusing on giving yourself a happy life in the present, then don't allow yourself to be conned anymore into thinking it can be achieved tomorrow. Make your life better today. If you have a task that you know that will make your life better, then seize the day and do it now. Live a philosophic life. It seems the inevitable recommendation of any philosopher to their readers that they, in turn, become philosophers. Well, we can't begrudge them too much for thinking that their own life pursuits have value, but this advice has a particular relevance for the time-managing person of today. We have discussed so far that being happy in the present is the true aim of life that Seneca emphasizes, so it might seem strange for him to encourage introspection and regular appreciation of the past. But this is the way that Seneca claims we must know how to make the choices that will give us the happiness that we deserve. Set aside regular time for you to reflect on your past and see how it made you the person that you are today, and what might you want for tomorrow. This will give you a real sense of what you need as a person and how to best make decisions for your happiness. Life is very short and anxious for those of us who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future, says Seneca. So the remedy to this is proper introspection. You can add to this philosophic life by trying to access wisdom through reading and intellectual exploration. The knowledge and wisdom of books is compressed time, and reading those adds to your time. This life of philosophic living is, according to Seneca, the best way to live. Of all people, only those at leisure who make time for philosophy, only those are really alive.